Y'all, the Chiefs have some serious work to do. We're going to talk about that. How we doing, Chiefs Kingdom? How we doing, chat? Get in the chat. Let us know how you're doing today. Love seeing everybody rolling in here. We're going to talk about some Kansas City Chiefs football today. Going to be a good time. Mike, NFL's currently in the calm before the storm phase here as the legal tampering kicks off tomorrow at noon Eastern time. So this is when it's truly a frenzy. This is when teams get to start talking to all these unrestricted free agents and figuring everything out. And the Chiefs have a pretty depleted roster and a lot of work to get done. So we're going to talk about all that, much more today. Do us a favor, hit that like button for us real quick, get this out to more people. And before we get going, just want to shout out DraftKings for sponsoring today's live stream.
There is nothing like the rush of game day, and that's why we've teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook to help you get started. If you love the thrill of live betting, DraftKings has got you covered. You can bet live on star player props and in-progress games right as they happen. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Simple as that. Just sign up using our promo code ACU. With DraftKings, the crown is yours.
That's right, y'all. If you don't have DraftKings, download that bad boy. Sign up using promo code ACU. Mike, let's talk about this Chiefs roster, man. You got a good look at what the Chiefs actually have on the roster right now under contract, and it's not very impressive. So the Chiefs, they have a lot of work to do. Brett Veach has a lot of work to get done.
Yeah, he absolutely does. This was just tweeted out 1 minute ago. Tom Pelissero says that they made a subtle change, but it is very significant when tomorrow's free agent negotiating window opens. For the first time ever, clubs may conduct one video or one phone call, maximum of 1 hour, with up to 5 different free agents rather than communicating strictly through their agents. So that means Big Red, if any of them want to recruit, they can do a video phone call. They can do a regular phone call for up to an hour to 5 different free agents. So that puts a little bit of a different, a little kink in it that from years past. But yeah, you're right, man. I've been looking at this roster for a few days trying to see what Brett Veach is going to do. And boy, I do not envy it. It is nasty. So, look, we've got a few things to get to today. There's been some Travis Kelce news drops. It felt like it was a little bit, whatever. We've heard a little bit about running back rumors, and we've heard about a defensive end, a veteran defensive end we'll get to in a minute. But I wanted to bring up what our roster looks like right now at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is what our roster looks like right now, ladies and gents. Our wide receivers are Rashee Rice, Jalen Royals, Jimmy Holiday, Xavier Worthy, Jason Brownlee, Andrew Armstrong. Rashee Rice could be suspended too. We don't even know what's happening there. So if he were to be suspended, it's Worthy, Jalen Royals, Jason Brownlee, Andrew Armstrong, and Jimmy Holiday. Okay, our tight ends as we sit right now, no Travis Kelce. It's Noah Gray, Wiley, Brenning Stool, and Trey Watson. Our offensive line, Simmons, Sumataia, Humphrey, Smith, and Moore. And then on the back end, we've got Esapole, Wanye Morris, Norzad, Hanson, Godric, Driscoll, and Willetsko as your depth, which is not very good, solid depth. And then, of course, Mahomes, Oladoke, and Hayner. And our running backs is Brashard Smith, Shunderick Powell. Okay, I would be willing to bet half of Chiefs Kingdom can't spell Shunderick. Okay, we're in trouble. Steve, look at the defense. Not much better. Karlaftis, Jones, Lott, and Gelati would be your starting 4, but the backups is Ethan Downs, Tyreek Smith, Zach Pickens, Marcus Harris, and FAU. We still got Tranquil Bolton. Coop McDonald would get the start if the season were today. Bossa, George Christensen, and Cam Arnold as your backups. And then our corners, Noah Williams, Melvin Smith Jr., who was a UDFA last year, Christian Fulton, who can never get on the football field. Kevin Knowles Jr. was working the slot. And then you'd have Connor and Roland Wallace starting with Hicks and Tanner McAllister as your backup. And if you can see it, we still do not have a punter under contract just yet, although Ariza should be signed for less than $1 million this year. So the Chiefs have a lot of work to do, Steve, because if that were our roster going into day one, this team may not win 4 games.
That's an understatement that they have a lot of work to do. Brett Veach has a job ahead of him. But that's the thing, man. Just like people were talking about, well, we don't have money for anybody. This can change that quick. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's, oh, we have no money, and then you snap your fingers. We got $50 million in salary cap to play with. Just like this, the roster looks completely depleted. There's not much there, but this is going to change fast. I think it's going to change very quickly here soon. Obviously, they're going to fill a lot of those holes with the draft, but I think we're going to see a lot of movement in free agency this year, far more than we're used to seeing in free agency.
Yeah.
So I would fully expect as soon as that legal tampering starts, you might know who we're getting, at least one major name before free agency officially kicks off. Because that happened with Jawan Taylor a few years back. We all knew we were getting him before it was actually even officially free agency period. So
Right.
I think we're going to know fast, and we're going to see a lot of these holes filled. And, you can look at it in a negative light, like, oh, damn, there's a lot to do here. Like, this team is gutted. Like, Brett Veach has to do so much with so little and blah, blah, blah. Or you could look at it in the positive light. We sucked last year. We had a lot of issues everywhere. And now a lot of those are gone. We've got a lot of different coaches in the building. We've got a different mentality in the building. And now you can start picking who you want, where you want them, and kind of rebuild this thing, much like probably should have been done a few years back. I think when you go back to where Brett Veach was holding up the Lombardi and saying this is what a rebuild in Kansas City looks like, I think around that time they should have been rebuilding. And they just missed that by a year or two, and that's why we struggled so bad. But this is the year, dude. This is the year where it's actually sort of a rebuild.
Right. So, look, if you go look at over the cap, you look at our free agency, you look at our team cap space, they've got us at 24.888, which is basically 24.9. You can go ahead and say 25, just to be a little quicker with the numbers. So we got about 25 million. They have not updated the deal we got done yesterday with James Winchester, which is 1 year, 1.75 million guaranteed. So that is automatically 1.75 million right off that bad boy. So we should be cruising somewhere around that $23 million mark. Okay, that's if the Chiefs don't make any other moves. Where they sit right now is at $23 million. There's several moves the Chiefs can make right now. I don't think $23 million is enough. You're going to need over $10 million to sign our draft class this year, which means you've got $13 million, give or take, to sign some free agents. You can't be targeting Etienne or Kenneth Walker Jr. and you think that you're going to have enough money at $23.1 million. It ain't happening. They've got to make some more moves. So you got to ask yourself, where are they going with this? Do you cut Drew Tranquil? He would give you $6 million more to add to the cap. That would put you around $29 million. Do they get rid of Christian Fulton? He would save you $5 million. But he's going to have some dead money behind it. Wanye Morris, I absolutely believe Wanye Morris should probably be cut. I don't think he's very good. He would save you 1.5. He has almost no dead money on him. CJ Hansen has no dead money, and I think he could be upgraded. He gives you about $1.1 million. So there's small moves you can make, but if you're cutting Fulton and you're cutting Morris and you're cutting Hansen, you are now taking a depleted corner room and making it worse. You're now taking a depleted offensive line room with hardly any good backups, and you're making it a little harder. You're still having to sign more people to replace these guys. So Brett Veach has his work cut out for him. But if you do cut Fulton, Morris, Hansen, and who was it, Drew Tranquil, you would get us somewhere around that $37 to $40 million mark. Now that you can move a little bit, right? But I think where they're sitting now with $23 million, Brett Veach has got a lot of work to do, and I don't know if $23 million is enough to do it.
Yep, Kurapika in the chat says, guess the rumors of CJ restructuring was fake. They were brought up, and they talked about restructuring Chris Jones. I saw the reports, too. Haven't heard anything on that, but that's another way they could free up some money if there's actually anything to that smoke. We'll see. Like you said, they're going to have to do probably a few different things to get a little bit more money freed up here for free agency, because they don't just need one piece. They don't just need two. They need a handful.
There's three other guys they could restructure here potentially. Two of them just signed a contract last year. Trey Smith was overpaid. He could take a cash restructure.
Yeah.
Nick Bolton was overpaid. He could possibly do that. You could free up both of them. A lot of people are wanting
Creed
to get
Humphrey.
rid of. Yeah, Creed Humphrey's another one, but he is the one that you think would be here the most long term. I think Creed Humphrey's here for a life. He is the first one I would go to because I don't care to kick the can down the road on Creed Humphrey.
Right.
I would do him first. You could save about $10 million restructuring Creed. You could probably get 6 or 7 out of Trey Smith and maybe 4 or 5 out of Nick Bolton, maybe a little bit more of Nick Bolton. But if you start kicking Nick Bolton's can down the road, you don't have the out in a year and a half to 2 years. That's what we had. Or I said a year and a half, but 1 to 2 years. You don't have that out there. Trey Smith, I think, is probably going to be here for the majority of his career too. So you could probably kick the can there. I think for me, I don't really want to touch Chris Jones, because you don't want to keep adding money to him, and if he starts getting pricier on the back end, it's going to make it hard to cut ties if his if his contract gets too big and it's outdoing his play, if he was to drop off a production mountain there. So I don't want to touch really him or Nick Bolton. So it would be Creed and Trey would be the two I would want to touch if I was going the restructure route.
Right. Well, you guys saw what the roster looks like right now, and you've heard us say it 5 times already. Brett Veach and the Chiefs have a lot of work to do going into this free agency coming up here soon. There's a lot of rumors floating around today, Mike, and we're going to get to those. We'll start with Travis Kelce, and we have a defensive end, looks like a veteran defensive end that's been linked to the Chiefs as well that we're going to talk about. Before we do that, guys, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All that fun stuff. Let's get more people in here. Let's have a good time. And before we get to that, Mike, I want to get this 5-bomb from our boy Fred. He says, I listened to you yesterday. 37 to open camp. You cut 4 or 5 more now. You're at 43. More money is needed. They absolutely have to make some more moves. I mean, I don't think there's any question about it, Fred. Some things have to get done here because there are way too many holes to fill with what they have available. So I think we're going to see some stuff probably here soon. Appreciate the 5 and the support, brother.
Okay, first thing we're going to talk about today is Diana Rossini. Based on conversation with several teams, she says tight end Travis Kelce appears motivated to return to play a 14th season, obviously. The Chiefs remain very much in the mix.
Chiefs are just in the mix here. We're in the mix.
So we're in the mix to get Travis Kelce, okay? But to re-sign the 3-time Super Bowl champ and 4-time All-Pro. So basically what I took out of that is the Chiefs are in the mix.
Coming back.
Kelce could go elsewhere. No, I'm joking. He's probably coming back. But, Steve, Travis Kelce, what does he get? 11 million guaranteed, 10 million guaranteed, 9 million guaranteed. You're looking at a lot of money. So if you've got what? We just said we've got 23 million. Kelce gets what? You get him to get a super team-friendly deal. Brett Veach don't like to do void years. He routinely doesn't do void years. So you got to pay Travis Kelce everything up here in 2026. So if he takes a team-friendly deal at 8 million, you've cut 23 down to 15 instantly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, $8 million. I think Kelce's going to do the club a solid. And he's going to want at least one more year here. I don't think he's going to be like poking them for all kinds of money. I mean, good Lord, man, he's getting ready to be a billionaire.
He needs to come back for about $5 million. That's what he needs to do.
He should just play for free at this point.
Yeah, let us have a year for free. You've done well with the podcast. You and Jason are killing it. Just give us a year for free.
You're
Travis.
Getting ready to marry Taylor Swift, brother. You're a billionaire.
Billionaire. Just have her pay your salary this year.
No, but that's something to talk about. I do think I've been saying this the whole time. I felt like Kelce's going to play at least one more season. I just don't see him going out the way that they went out last season. That'd be a weird way to end Hall of Fame, a GOAT, a prolific career. Okay, it's just be weird to me. So I want to see him come back in here. I think he wants to come back in here, get this on the right, get this train on the tracks and do something well with his last season. So I fully expect that. But I do think that he'll take a team-friendly deal. But even if he does, it does take a chunk of the money away that we have available to start filling in some of these holes. So it's something else to consider. Obviously, we want to look at tight end as well. Because even though Travis Kelce's going to come back, I still think it's very, very important that we have a successor in place. I don't necessarily think it's Noah Gray at this point. Jared Wiley is not it. Jake Brenningstool is not going to be it. I think they're going to have to be looking at people like Isaiah Likely in free agency. And if they can't land him in free agency, I think they have to take a very, very serious look at Kenyon Sadiq and Eli Stowers in the draft.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. I think Kelce will come back. I don't know how team-friendly he does play. Let's say he takes, I think if he gives us a great team-friendly deal, you're looking at somewhere between 7 and 8.5. If he gives us a good friendly deal, 8.5 to 9.5. And if he takes anything over 9.5 to 10, he didn't give us any deal. Like, he just didn't give us any deal. If he's somewhere around 10, he just didn't do it. So, John Russell asked a question, Steve.
Before we get to John Russell's question, though, and if Kelce does do that, you can't even be mad at him because Kelce played for well under what he was worth his entire career.
Absolutely, but I don't know why you'd want to come back right off into the sunset and then take all the cap money.
I don't
so
think
you
he
can't
will.
build
But
a roster.
I don't think he will. But I mean, if he did, it's hard to be mad at him.
Yeah. So John says, can I ask a dumb question? There are no dumb questions, John. He said, why is there dead money? In my work environment, if I sign a contract, I get that. You just explained why there is dead money. So here's what dead money is. Dead money is basically a charge against the salary cap for a guy who's no longer on the roster. So basically, if you put money into a player that's already been guaranteed signing bonuses, option bonuses, any kind of guaranteed salary, it basically, if you cut or trade that player, you are responsible to pay anything you owe him. So you have to pay a prorated rate of any kind of bonuses. They accelerate immediately to the front of the line. He has to be paid instantly, and that goes against the cap. So, for example, if you have, let me see, I just pulled this up yesterday, Christian Fulton. So, for example, if we cut Fulton, we save $5 million per the cap. But we got to add on $8 million of dead money. And so that dead money doesn't really come off instantly per se, but that means that's all the guarantees and everything we owe him. We have to pay that. And so that dead money actually goes against the cap as well. But it gets spread out. They can do that a certain specific way, I think, and it doesn't really affect everything. So it's a really technical thing, but it's basically, you answered your own question, is anything they owe that player, if you cut him or whatever, you're not out of the contract. Like, you have to pay him anything that you said you would pay him when he signed the contract.
Good job, Mike.
Okay, thanks.
You lost me about halfway through, but I think, I wasn't listening.
Yeah,
I was
that's
fixing
probably
something.
it.
No, but real quick, though, I just want to shout out our boy JB in the house with the 10 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go, JB. How
Appreciate
about
you,
it?
brother.
If y'all got one of those, make sure to thank him in the chat. Put some legendaries in the chat for JB. Always loading the crew up. Mike, shout out Robert, Jennifer, Fresh the Chef, Sharita Johnson, TX, CG, Mike's Merks, Andrea Smith. Let's see what else we got. Big 12 Blitz and Leah. Welcome to the freaking crew. Let's go. That's a way to get it started. That's a way to get started. Yeah, but the dead money thing, Mike, like you kind of got pretty in depth there at the end of it, and I didn't catch it all. But I mean, it's essentially just like, if you sign a contract at work and you're supposed to make $50,000 this year, if they fired you halfway through it, they still have to pay you the guaranteed $50,000, and it still counts towards their budget. I mean, that's essentially what that is. So, to break it down in layman's terms.
Dude, 8 minutes ago, Mike Garafolo reports that the Rams plan on extending McDuffie and making him the highest paid corner at over $30 million per season.
Ooh, we weren't going to pay that ever.
Dude, if you give him a 4-year deal, you're already looking at what, $120 million? And how much is that's going to be guaranteed? It'll at least be 75 to 100.
Bro,
That's insane.
Hey, shout out Trent McDuffie. Get yours, boy. Hey, he was a dog for us, man. I love Trent McDuffie. I like to see it. You love to see it. Making some money, baby. Let's freaking go. Mike, Gary Slater getting in on the action with 5 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go, Gary. Appreciate y'all. Put some legendaries in chat for Gary as well. And shout out J.M. Thompson, Cody Jagger, Timmy B, C. Cole, Lex Luthor. Welcome to the freaking crew. You guys are awesome. Appreciate the support, by the way.
Appreciate you guys.
Mike, we also have a 2-bomb from our boy Josh Vasquez. Says, hey, Mike, the Raiders are after your boy. Who are the Raiders after?
Yeah, who are they after?
Like Omar Cooper or somebody? I don't know.
I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah, who are you talking about, Josh? Let us know in the chat, man. Appreciate the 2. Thanks for the support, brother. Yeah, I don't know. Now I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
Are you talking about Rico Dowdle, maybe?
Maybe. He might be doing that. He might be messing with you about Rico Dowdle. I don't know. Let us know, Josh. That way we know what we're talking about. Either way, man, let's move it along. Let's move along to another big rumor today. I think you brought it in, right? We got a edge rusher, a very experienced edge rusher here. Sleeper NFL's reporting per Gold MCT NFL.
That's Charles. That's
Is that Charles Goldman? It's our boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, okay. I didn't know his tag there. So Charles Goldman believes that Cam Jordan could be a target for the Chiefs in free agency. Defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo previously coached Cam Jordan, and he would be a good fit. Cam Jordan had 10.5 sacks last season, so even though he's 36 years old, he's still putting in the work. Could this be a good piece for the Chiefs? I tend to think so. You look back at some of the other successful Chiefs seasons, we had Terrell Suggs, we had Carlos Dunlap, we had Melvin Ingram. We were getting these guys that had been there, done that. They helped a lot of the young guys on the defensive line, and they still were productive. I think Cam Jordan could fall right in that category, but you have to be able to get them for pretty cheap.
Yeah, look, Charles Goldman watches the show, big fan. Steve, we were talking about this about 4 or 5 days ago. Shout out Charles for spreading our word. Look, I think Cam Jordan would be a good 1-year deal, right? We were talking about him possibly being in a phase where he's going to chase a ring. We just talked about this. What was it, 2 or 3 days on a live stream?
Yeah, it wasn't long ago.
We talked about this. It was because I want to say maybe it was Thursday. It could have been Thursday, could have been Friday, but we had seen where Pat McAfee was talking to, I think it was Peter Schrager about that. So we were talking about it on the live. So I think that's a very, very interesting signing that Charles Goldman brings up, and I think it's probably something the Chiefs should do. Now, the thing is what's he going to sign for? Is he going to give us a ring chaser deal? I think if you could get him around $6 to $7 million, that would be completely fine. I would pay Cam Jordan $6 million per year, or $7 million for a year.
Another reason we even brought this up is because insiders were saying that he wanted to look for somewhere to go get a ring.
Right, that's what Peter Schrager was saying.
You're right. So he wasn't trying to go get a big bunch of money, and that's why we were like, hey, this could totally be an option. Is it a good option? I absolutely think it could be. If you can get him for around, what do you think, $9-10 million?
But I'm thinking that if he wants to chase, he may have to go to the $7 million mark to get here. I don't know if we'll pay him $10 million per year.
Well, even if you do, I mean, that
years
does,
old.
it kind of gives you a stepping stone at the defensive end position, because a lot of people, I mean, we've been pounding the table for edge rushers. We've been pounding the table for defensive tackles. And the Chiefs absolutely have to address that defensive line. And they have to do it via the draft and free agency, because there's a lot of holes there. But if they get Cam Jordan, that at least gives you a little bit of leeway there. Then you don't have to rush into the draft. And let's just say that you're in a predicament to where, hey, I could get Jordan Love or I could get Reuben Bain. I don't have to take Reuben Bain right this second because we're okay for the time being. Or, you know, and I'm not saying that just in particular or that I would choose that. I'm just showing that it opens up a little bit in the draft, you know, according to what you get in free agency. So, I mean, even if it's just for a year, it does give you a minute to breathe at that position. So it's not the worst idea in the world. We'll see how that goes. But
Cam Jordan right now is almost 37. He's 36.6.
Yeah, I told you he's old. You're getting 1 year out of him.
He did put up decent numbers last year. He put up, 10.5 sacks?
Yeah, I just said that. Yeah.
So, okay. So, look, Spot Rack, which is one of the industry leaders of trying to identify average annual value, does not say Cam Jordan's wanting 10 to 11 million. They're saying he is going to ask for somewhere between 6 and 8, and they've settled on 6.7.
That's easy.
That's right
easy.
In the wheelhouse of what I just said.
Yeah.
So now that I know this, if you can get him to sign for that 6.5, 7 million even, maybe even 7.3, 7.4 with bonus and incentives, that's complete. Look, if you can get him at 6 million with an 8 to 9 million incentive-laced contract, like, hey, if you hit double-digit sacks, you're going. If we go to the Super Bowl, you get more. If we do this, you get more. Dude, he may take that. If you can get that 6.7 to 7 million up to 10 or 11 with bonuses, he could come chase with the Chiefs, and I think that's doable.
Yeah, I think it's actually a good idea in the sense of it has worked in the past for the Chiefs. Like, it's always been a good thing.
Draft. You just continue to put a higher floor, and somebody that can now go with Cam Jordan, Chris Jones, George Karlaftis. Now you can draft a big old DT that's awesome to go with Omar Norman Lott. You've got Ashton Gelati rotating in. You're going to draft another defensive end. You can instantly go to one of the best defensive lines in the league next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things where it's like I said, it's proven with the Chiefs to be successful so far. And it's not like you're just getting a player that's going to give you production for a year. But these guys that have been in the league this long, and you have a lot of young guys in that defensive line room, I feel like you're kind of getting a coach in there for them as well. Like you're just getting extra help for these young guys. And Cam Jordan's had a great career. He's a good guy, and I think that that's a good role model for them. And I think that would be great. I'm for it. Absolutely, if they can get it for $6 million, sign me up. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. Somebody asked in the chat what my pink and blue bracelets were.
Renee, she said, serious question.
Yeah. So they're just, I got this one. They're just little like Jesus bracelets. One says God remembered Noah. One says Jesus loves you. And then these have crosses on them. And it's just, and there's the tattoo of Jesus there.
What's normally pink and blue? Something had her really worried there for a second.
I'm not for sure, but that's
I think I know. I think I know. It's a complete opposite of what she was thinking, probably. But
oh no, I'm just,
let's go.
You know, always representing Jesus out here, preaching the word.
Let's go. Why not?
Got to be positive.
Gotta be. Yeah, dude. So Brett Veach needs Jesus getting his roster together,
he
brother.
does. He needs to be praying tonight.
A lot of work to do, like we mentioned. If you guys are just joining for the day, do us a favor, hit that like button. Let's get this out to more people. Have a good time. We're going to be here for quite a bit longer today, so come hang out, share it with friends, whatever you got to do. Let's get some people in here, talk about some football. Mike, free agency, we love talking draft. And, you know, we've been talking a lot of draft, and a lot of our people in our chat like to talk draft, and we've done it a lot. But I think that for today, since legal tampering starts tomorrow, I think we have to focus solely on free agency at this point, because we're not going to really know what the Chiefs are targeting in the draft until we know what they acquire in free agency. So I think it just makes sense that let's stick to free agency for today. You were mentioning they have about 30, did you say 31 million? Is that what's available?
Right now they're they're only sitting at about 23 to 25 million.
Okay, even worse. So let's just say 23 at the worst case scenario, and you got to pay Travis Kelce 8 of it. So what's that leave you? Yeah, 17, 16,
no, 15.
15. I can't do math, obviously.
Yeah.
But, so $15 million. And now you're looking at, everybody's been saying, well, what about Kenneth Walker? Well, Kenneth Walker's going to need at least $12 million. And I think that's being generous, because I think Denver's going to outbid you.
Right, but his first-year cap hit, even if he signs for $12 million per, is only going to be
It's
about
not
6
going
to
to be
7.
Exactly. But either way, I still think that might be a little rich for us. You could probably look more towards Etienne. I think he'll be a little bit cheaper. But that's something that we have to be looking at, running back. We also have to be looking at the edge rusher. So, like, let's just say they got Cam Jordan for, say, $7 million. That knocks us down to what? What would his first? It's just 1 year, so it's a whole $7 million.
Yeah, he would get all of it. So whatever you sign Cam Jordan to that. Now you could sign him to a 2-year, back end it a little bit, and see if he would do that. And if he produces this year, he comes back. If not,
right. And then let's just say you do Cam Jordan and you get Etienne. Okay, so you're looking at
that's about 13 to 14 million on this cap. That's about all we have after the Kelce.
So that leaves you zero after Kelce. So you have got to absolutely make some moves, because I think that you're going to be looking at a couple of players here. I have no doubt in my mind they're going to look at Boye Mafe for whatever they can get him for. I think they will be looking at Boye Mafe. It's just going to happen. Brett Veach wanted him. He tried to get him. He couldn't get him before the trade deadline. He's going to try to get him. I can almost guarantee you that. Brett Veach doesn't forget things. So that's one player I think they'll be looking at. I also think that they have to take a good look at Isaiah Likely. If he's going to be out there on the market, and Travis Kelce's coming back for 1 year, I think you absolutely have to look at him. So that puts a lot of money into the mix there. And that's at the very least. That's like the low end of what you should be getting done in free agency is a running back, an edge rusher, and a tight end. Now, they don't have to do all that. They can do a lot of that in the draft. But I think that's where you start if it's me.
Yeah. Look, here's the problem. We just don't have a lot of money. It feels like we do, and yes, we can create it.
They'll create it somehow.
This may be why they were talking about doing the Chris Jones thing, because that instantly takes us from about 25 to about 45 to 47. If you can do Creed, now you're at, like, say, 53. If you can do Trey Smith, you're at, like, 60. That's a lot. But you got to think about this. The draft is going to, a lot of people are like, trade back, pick again, picking. I'm seeing drafts where people are trading back. We're taking 12 players. Do you know how much guaranteed money that is? Like, you're making the draft class like literally $25 million to sign at this point.
Right.
It's getting insane. You want to ease up at about 10 million. So you want to sign maybe 6 good players, 7 to 8 at the worst. You're wanting to get around that 10 million. So if you've got, say, let's theoretically say you do Creed Humphrey, you do Trey Smith, you get that going, and you even touch Chris Jones, and you're at 60. You've just figured up that you probably took. Look, if you want Boye Mafe, he's going to be 12 to 14 million per year. His first year cap hit's going to be almost 8 to 10 million, so he's going to take a big chunk. I've seen Adafe always. People are wanting him in the chat. He's wanting 20 million per year. He's going to take $15 million in cap hit. So he is just. You can do it, but we got to free up all the money, right? Trey Hendrickson is going to be $26 million is what they're thinking he's going to ask for. And these are kind of low projected market values. Sometimes Spot Rack gets pretty close, but sometimes Spot Rack's a little
You also have to
underestimated.
consider the league just raised the salary cap for like a lot.
Dude, we just
Like a significant amount, which means everyone's going to want more money.
Right, and how much did the Chargers just pay guaranteed last night
To Khalil Mack.
to a 50-year-old edge rusher that had 5 sacks last year? They gave him like 20 mil guaranteed last night.
I don't remember the exact number, but it was like 17 or 19.
It was like 18 or 19, yes. So, dude, people are wanting
And he's
big-time
35.
money.
He's 35 years old.
Yeah, he had 5 sacks last year and only played 12
Yeah,
games.
we're talking about getting Cam Jordan, who had 10 and a half last year for 6.
And didn't miss any.
Pretty wild. Pretty wild. Shout out our boy Fred with another 5 bomb. Says their heart is just different, talking about older players like Cam Jordan. And, I think there is something to that. I do think that a lot of these older players have a different mentality than these younger players. So I think Cam Jordan would be a good one. Like I said, it would help the younger guys in that defensive line room. And also, he's going to be motivated. If he's going to ring chase, that means he's going to be playing his heart out. So right there with you, Fred. Appreciate the 5. Our boy Perry with 2. Says we should trade back at 9 and trade up at 29. There's so many different scenarios there, Perry. I've just been messing with the, just the mock drafts and stuff, like looking at different scenarios, and there's so much. Brett Veach put himself in a very good position in this draft by trading Trent McDuffie. Now, it left a big hole in the defensive back room, but it absolutely freed his hands a little bit in this draft. He can kind of work the boards. I think he's going to be able to get the players that he wants. So, more so this year than any, I feel like the players that you see drafted, I think Brett Veach wants them, and he's going to go get them. So we're going to find out a lot about that here soon. Appreciate the 2. And then we got Slamming in the house with the 2. Says we only have 3 wide receivers as long as Rice isn't suspended. So, yeah, we were talking about getting, receivers. I think Thornton needs to be signed back. That's something else we didn't put in this scenario. If they have to sign Thornton back, there's some more money that needs to be thrown down.
Right. He's going to get about $3 million per.
If they think they need Juju for one more year just to bridge the gap, I mean, that's another little bit that's got to be thrown down.
Yep.
Which he'll probably play for minimum.
League minimum, yeah. He's somewhere around that 1.5 to 2.
But that's the kind of stuff they're going to have to be looking at, being in the financial position they're in with the holes that they have on this roster. So when they go signing back Juju for a year, I don't want to see anybody complaining, because I think for league minimum,
Right.
Juju's well worth league minimum.
Well, let's think about this. If you have 30 spots that you got to fill on your roster, let's say 10 of them are draft. Let's just say Brett Veach goes ham and drafts 10 players. You still got 20 guys. Let's say you pick up 3 good ones, 3 really good serviceable guys in free agency, and let's say 3 mid-tier free agents. You're down to 14. So you got to sign 14 players at league minimum, which is basically just scrub players that barely contribute.
Right.
Juju's above that a little bit, I believe. But still, that's 14 players at a $2 million minimum. You're still looking at, $28 million just to hit those?
Right.
So it adds up quick, because when you have so many spots to fill, is what Brett Veach kind of does, right? He lives and dies by this 1-year contract, these 1-year prove-it deals, and every single year he's filling 25 and 30 roster spots.
Right.
And it keeps the ball rolling, and it keeps adding up every year. You start getting in cap trouble, you start getting in big-time trouble.
Unless you're Howie Roseman.
This is a big
Did you see
year
where
for the
did you
draft,
see where they're
in my
trying to
opinion.
trade off Walker?
Which Walker? Who?
Or not, what's his name? Carter. Jalen Carter.
Oh, Jalen Carter.
I don't know why I was wanting to call him Jalen Walker. Jalen Carter, they're trying to trade him away. They're
Well,
not
what's he
like a
asking
lot of the
for?
fans
He
are not
was-
happy about that.
Dude, he was asking for like 17 first-round picks for A.J. Brown. Like, what in the world are you trying to get
Yeah,
out
so
of Jalen Carter?
there's no telling. There's no telling. We got a 5-bomb from Montre. He says, is likely a potential successor for Kelce. I absolutely think he is, Montre. And then he says, do we have enough salary cap? We don't really, but we're going to have to create regardless. So, I mean, could that be in the cards? Absolutely. I think he's projected to be at about a 2-year, $17.6 million. It's kind of what they're projecting for him, which is about $8.8 million per year. So on the first year, it's probably going to be a little less and a little more on the back end. So you'd probably be looking at a $7 million cap hit at least.
If you could sign likely for, say, a 3-year deal. Because if Kelce comes
Stretch
back
it out a
this
little
year,
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you get a 3-year deal, like you said, it's about $9 million per, so that's about 27. Your first year would be about 5 to 6, but like we were already bringing back Kelce. What if he's 10? Now you've put $17 million on a tight end position. That's tough, man. You know what I'm trying to say? Like Kelce's really kind of throwing a real big wrinkle into this. That's pretty tough because he is taking a lot of guaranteed cap money. Brett Veach may have to start fiddling around with void years. Like he may have to start actually doing that a little bit, like the Eagles.
Yeah, it does. It sounds bad. Like you said, Kelsey's throwing a wrench in the gears here and stuff like that, but I think it's well-deserved from both sides here. So I think Kelce, you let the guy play another year if he wants to play. He was productive as hell last year for his age.
But isn't it better to say Kelce 1 year, 2 years void afterwards? You pay him $3.3 million for the next 3 years, and he's done. You don't pay him $10 million this year and kill your cap.
I'm okay
Brett
with
Veach
that.
has got to start looking at those void years a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. Appreciate the 5, Montre, and then Stevis in the house with the 2 bomb. Let's freaking go. Thanks for the support, guys. You guys are awesome. Appreciate y'all being here. Hit that like button for us. Appreciate you guys donating and gifting out memberships. It helps the channel grow. We're trying to ultimately get to about 100K subscribers. We're a little over halfway there, so we need your help. Sharing the channel out, hitting that like button, doing all that stuff that helps us get out there. You guys are freaking awesome. Real quick, Mike, I just want to take a quick second to shout out another sponsor of today's live stream, Zarda Barbecue. All right, y'all. Y'all got to check out our favorite Kansas City barbecue spot, the legendary Zarda Barbecue. They have 2 locations, one in Lenexa, one in Blue Springs. Get over there and get yourself an $11 lunch. We highly recommend Ashton Gelati sandwich, the KC takeaway. Get that bad boy with a side of baked beans and chef's kiss. It doesn't get any better than that. And if you're feeling something a little different, you can grab their new wings. Those things are freaking amazing. And did I mention their sauce game is top tier? So get over to Zarda Barbecue because they're legend. Wait for it. Dairy. And let them know All Chiefed Up sent you their way. That's right. If you live near Lenexa or Blue Springs, get over to Zarda Barbecue. Get yourself something good to eat. Let them know All Chiefed Up sent you. Mike, what else we got to talk about, my man?
Brian Parrott. He says, why do I feel like Brett Veach is going to do something stupid? Well, because, look, Brett Veach will routinely do something stupid at the beginning of free agency.
Dude, it is a worry because, like, the Jawan Taylor thing was a big miss.
Anthony Hitchens was a huge miss.
Yeah, even Christian Fulton signing last year was a miss. Like, you got to be...
We give MVS a big bunch of money right off the bat one year.
Yeah. I mean, Veach will do these things. So it's a valid...
It's a valid
worry.
concern.
Yeah, valid concern.
But maybe he knows he don't have as much money to mess with. I think if you see like Rasheed Walker get signed early, I'm going to be like, daggone it.
That's going to be the one. That's going to be the one that's really going to set me off.
That's going to be the idiotic one.
Like, so Rasheed Walker, $20 million a year. If you're going to get a tackle, wouldn't you be better off just sitting at 9 and taking Francis?
Yeah. A Maui Noah or a Lomu or just any of those guys. Good Lord, Monroe Freeling out of Georgia would be just about as good as going and paying Rasheed Walker. Yeah,
appreciate you, Huckleberry. Y'all hit that like button. Let's go. There's a couple other names I've seen thrown around by fans and people in the chat. They know A.J. Brown's going to be on the move. I just feel like he's too rich and too much of a prima donna for me. I don't really care. I love his play. He's a great receiver. Potentially the best one in the entire league, but I don't know if I can handle that dude, to be quite honest about it. It's scary. So that's a weird one. Who's some other names that you've seen linked to the Chiefs, Mike? Not just by insiders, but just who are the people wanting here? Who are the
Right.
people wanting?
Well, you know, the Etiennes of the world and all of them, but if you actually go look, some people are saying a safety would be a good one, and there was some names that got thrown out for safety. There was one in particular, Nick Cross out of Indianapolis. He's only 24 and a half years old. He's played for 4 years with Indy. He's going to be wanting about $6 million per. Is that a good replacement there if you don't think you can get a good,
Brian Cook.
Yeah, like you're probably not wanting Cook back for what they're saying he's getting, but and I think actually Brian Cook's projected to make more. Yes, Brian Cook
14.2.
That is wild that people are projecting Brian Cook to make $14.2 million.
Yeah, well, there's already a team that's very interested in Brian Cook.
That is insanity.
So Brian Cook's probably going to make it. That's the thing. He's fully expected. This is the last report I've heard on Brian Cook. He's fully expected to hit the open market, command a massive deal with a projected market value of $14.2 million. The Cincinnati Bengals are rumored to be front runners.
The Bengals are dumb. So, I mean, that makes sense. Does it not? That just is straight, can't protect Joe Burrow, but we can pay who?
Joe Burrow's in trouble this year. I saw a meme earlier. It was like, Joe Burrow might die this season, guys. He has to face Max Crosby twice. He has to face Myles Garrett twice. And he has to face T.J. Watt twice. So he's done.
Right. Some defensive tackles. I've seen some defensive tackles get talked about. I would love to have John Franklin Myers in here. I think he can go defensive end.
That's a good one.
Defensive tackle. I would be targeting. He would be one of the top on my list, if I'm being honest. He would be right up there. If I wanted to go the 1 year route, I'm looking at Cam Jordan and maybe looking at Calais Campbell. We talked about him a little bit last year. I really wouldn't care to maybe Calais Campbell. They're both a little older, but they bring that spark, that fire. They've done it.
And they bridge a gap.
Right, they bridge the gap. If you're looking for a little bit younger, you got Neville Gallimore, who came out of Oklahoma a few years ago.
What a name.
DJ Reader, Logan Hall out of Houston a few years ago. That could be a good place you go there. Again, I think for me, I think safety is Nick Cross. I don't like Kobe Bryant as much because he is a free agent, but he is wanting top of the market. He's wanting more than Brian Cook, and I just think that's too much. So if I had to go that route, I'm definitely looking at some different ones. Maybe like an Andre Sisco. I think Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State, I believe, is where he come out a few years ago. He's a little too rich, I think. So maybe Cisco, if you wanted to spend a little less money, maybe look at like Kyle Duggar, Jabril Peppers, somebody like that. But there's a lot of different ones. And then for free agent wide receivers, I think Romeo Dobbs is priced out of here. Jawan Jennings, I think Rashid Shaheed's priced out of here. So maybe like a Jalen Naylor out of Michigan State who really hasn't lived up to anything. I think Alec Pierce, Mike Evans, they're too rich. Stephon Diggs, they're just not going to offer as much. But there was a name that come free yesterday or a few days ago from the Falcons. Darnell Mooney could be a name to keep an eye on, in my opinion.
Falcons fans seem to think that Darnell Mooney stinks.
Yeah, well, he may stink, but Andy Reid doesn't care that people stink, and Brett Veach doesn't either.
He can run a 4.3.
Well, they think they could come here and fit into the system and be fine. Another name I really like, I liked Calvin Austin coming out of school.
Love it.
He would be a good one, and I really think Christian Kirk, if you could pull him off at $5 million per year, I'd take Christian Kirk all day.
Yeah, dude, both of those guys would be excellent.
Those are both guys that can work the intermediate field and get open constantly.
Yep, Huckleberry with the 2 says there was a meme with Joey on the white couch. Says I'm dead. Man, he's going to have a rough year, dude. He's going to have a rough year.
Poor Joe. Do you think they could trade Joe Burrow?
No, they won't.
If I was
he's
Burrow,
doomed. He is doomed to Cincinnati, brother.
I would see if I could get out of there.
I mean, he's making a lot of money.
Dude, I'd go to the Jets if I had to get out of Cincinnati. I would prefer to play for the Jets than Cincinnati. Is that crazy of me? The Jets are a dumpster fire, but I think Cincinnati's just as bad.
I will say that the front office of the Cincinnati Bengals might be one of the worst in the NFL by far.
Dude, he's like 96 years old. I don't even think he's got a thought in his brain. He's probably going to run for Congress at any day now. That's just what we're going to deal with. Once he retires from being an NFL owner at the age of 96, he will then run for Congress.
Yeah.
Congrats.
He's got to get out of there. He's got to go. Mike, you mentioned Calvin Austin III. I like that option.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
We loved him coming out of the draft. He was an excellent fit for the Chiefs, has elite speed, 4.32 40-yard dash. He's got that big playability. 28% of his catches went for 20-plus yards, ranking him in the top 10 league-wide for explosive plays. His versatility, he's labeled as a slot guy because he's only 5'9", 162.
Yeah, he's a little guy.
But the data shows that he actually performs better lined up out wide, where he averages 1.51 yards per route run compared to the 0.93 in the slot. He fits with the Chiefs because he gives you that old school Tyreek Hill vertical threat. He's like Tyreek Light, right? Super athletic, can do a lot of things right. He's a special teams weapon as well. He's affordable. His value is going to be between $4.9 million and $10 million per year. So for the Chiefs that only have a roughly $25 million, a 2-year deal for Austin could allow them to address some other positions, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, he gives you a lot of flexibility in your offense where you can be creative. And that's a big thing for Andy Reid because Andy Reid is probably the most creative play caller in the National Football League. He loves the gadget plays. He loves doing weird things like that. I think Calvin Austin would be a great acquisition. He is high risk, high reward kind of because he might do nothing for you. There's that possibility, but I tend to think that he would be a bit of a weapon in our offense.
I think he's been a more successful, and Sammy kind of said it too. I think he's been a more successful Xavier Worthy, at least last year. And Worthy's got a lot of injury concerns.
Well, Calvin
he stayed
Austin
injured
was
all last year. That would be a pretty good depth right there to do that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, Calvin Austin was kind of quiet his entire career until he had Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
He had a good quarterback that knew what he was doing, and he went off this year. So, I mean, what did he even do in Pittsburgh last year?
He had a good year. Steve, Mickey Moonrock said the Raiders should trade their 2 first-round picks for Joe Burrow.
I mean, if I was them, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, because look,
could you imagine Joey B with Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers and
one of those picks, is going to be number 1. It's going to be a quarterback. So I'm taking him over Mendoza any day. So you're basically giving up 1 pick. Because you're taking Mendoza, so you're basically getting 1 pick. And I mean, he's an established Pro Bowl quarterback.
Yeah, dude, I would do it.
Problem is Joe Burrow's heart still in it? Like, is he going to play for 2 or 3 more years and just be done?
No, I absolutely think Joe Burrow will play for a long time. I think he likes playing football, but I think he probably has gotten a little bit discouraged in Cincinnati. They don't do anything to protect him, man. He's a rag doll back there, and that's all there is to it. So, But the Raiders, they're not known for protecting their quarterbacks either.
Yeah, that's true. Mark asked, would you guys be mad if the Chiefs signed Walker and drafted Love? They can't do that. There's no way you do that.
Yeah.
Number one, if you spend your money,
imagine how much money would be there.
Yeah, you got to put Walker at $30 million, and then Love automatically at pick number 9 would be $31.5 guaranteed. So you're paying $60 million to a running back in 2026. Couldn't do it. And then number 2, if you spend your money free agency on a running back, you got to get some defensive pass rush at some point. So now you've missed out on number 9.
Yeah, doubling up there seems like a very elementary mistake.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, it's like something that
it does sound good in theory, but we're also not a running team.
Yeah.
Well, to have a backfield that's Kenneth Walker and Jeremiah Love seems unstoppable, but we're also not the 1985 Pittsburgh Steelers. That's going to run the ball 72 times a game, so it's not going to be much of a factor with Andy Reid barely chucking off 12 to 15 carries.
One or the other there is plenty for that running back room. So I think whatever they want to do.
The more I think about it, though, Steve, I think I would honestly rather. I think Kenneth Walker and Etienne is more of a proven. We know these guys can do well in the NFL. But honestly, for the amount of money we're paying them, I feel like I would rather just get a pass rusher in free agency and then get Love at 9. But
you're not going to get Love at 9.
Yeah, so now you've got to trade it up. And we've already know that Tennessee is now rumored that they may draft him at number 9.
At 4,
you're not getting above Tennessee at 4. And if you want to trade Tennessee at 4 and they want them, they're not going to trade you. So you'd have to get up with the Cardinals at 3. You're giving
who also have been rumored to want Jordan Love.
So you're giving up both first-round picks to go get Jeremiah Love, which now gets even crazier.
I think I called him Jordan Love. Is that one of the villains in?
Isn't it?
Okay. It's also if you watch the show Dexter, I'm pretty sure he was the motivational speaker that was killing people. I think his name was Jordan
Yeah.
Love.
It's-
That's hilarious. No, that was
a
Jordan
wild-
Chase.
It's just a wild.
Yeah,
you know,
dude.
for everybody that wanted the Chiefs to tank, number 9 felt so great for people. But the more and more we're getting into this, and we still got a month and a half to go, it seems like number 9 has turned into be a problem here. Because you're right on the cusp of getting somebody you really want.
It's
so
not a
you either got
problem.
to trade it up, or you just,
It's not a problem. I
Well,
feel
it's
like you
not
could sit there
working
and get a
out
good
because
player.
You don't have a lot of good quality quarterbacks in this draft. You
You're
don't
not-
have all those guys like that to push good players down the board for us.
Right. Yeah, but you're not getting Jeremiah Love at number 9. It's not happening. You'd have to trade up.
Yeah, I feel like that's
You're not getting Reuben Bain. You're not getting David Bailey at number 9. So if you want those, you're going to have to trade up.
No, we're going to end up sitting at number 9 having to take somebody like Kai Lemon. And again,
Yep.
that could be
Carnell
cool,
Tate, maybe.
but it could be scary. I seen how that guy was doing this.
Downs could fall to 9, so you could see them replacing Brian Cook at number 9. And a
I
lot of
like
people are
Downs
not
at
going to like
number
that.
9, though.
A lot of people are not going to like that, though.
Love
But I mean, those are the most likely scenarios at this point. I just don't see any of the other guys I mentioned. I mean, I think some of your best guys that'll be at number 9. It's going to be a pick your poison between potentially Downs, but I still don't know if he makes it to 9. But I think you're looking at Francis Manoa. You're looking at probably Kenyon Sadiq, Carnell Tate, Micaiah Lemon.
If you get Kenneth Walker in this draft or in free agency, you don't need Jeremiah Love. If you get Etienne, you don't need Jeremiah Love. So beyond those two, Jeremiah Love's in play. So let's just say you get one of those two. So Jeremiah Love's out of play. If you don't get David Bailey, Reuben Bain, Caleb Downs,
Trade back.
I'm wanting to get out of that pick. I'm going back to like 12 to 13 to 14, and I'm going to take Kenyon Sadiq and go to the house a happy person and pair
Right.
that with my
Well,
number 29 and be completely fine with it.
There's lots of other guys you can get in that range too. If you wanted to go defense, you could get Peter Woods. You could get the guy from Ohio State. I can't think of his name right now.
Caden McDonald.
Yeah, Caden McDonald. You could still go
You got an option
tackle.
to get Lee Hunter too. I mean, Lee Hunter.
Yeah, Lee Hunter will
Caleb
be there.
Banks.
Yeah, Caleb Banks. There's lots of options in that range. So, but if one of those blue chippers fall at 9, just take them. Just take them. So I mean, if Love, Bailey, Bain, or Downs fall, I think you just go.
But
get 'em.
again, Love's off the board if you spend the money in free agency.
Right, free agency is going to dictate all that. That's why I said I didn't really want to talk about the draft a whole lot today because
Yeah,
We're not
2 days
gonna
from getting
know.
a great player here, possibly.
yeah, we're not going to know exactly what we're going to be after until this whole free agency thing gets underway. And the legal tampering starts tomorrow, so we could know something as early as tomorrow, honestly.
Yeah,
That
and
could
look,
be-
me and Steve's getting on tomorrow. We're getting on, and we're spending the morning with you guys. The lunch hour we're getting on. We're talking all the legal tampering because I'm sure the Chiefs are going to make something known tomorrow, don't you, Steve? Brett Veach is horned up right now. To
I
make
think
something known.
if it's not known, I do think that you'll get some reports from very established insiders, like someone like a Rappaport or a Schefter or a George Schultz or somebody that's going to be like, this person is linked to the Chiefs. Like this could
Or-
happen. Like you're going to hear something.
Kenneth Walker has almost got a deal done with another team, so you can pretty much
Yeah.
knock it out.
Yeah.
You're at least going to do addition by subtraction tomorrow. So we're probably going to be on during the day tomorrow, just hanging out with you guys and talking through all this legal tampering stuff.
Yeah, seeing
probably
what's
for the
going
next
on.
few days. This is going to be a real busy week for the Chiefs, in my opinion. Well, NFL in general, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's welcomed because it has been slow as hell for literally like six weeks now. So it's welcome.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got something going.
Mickey says everyone thinks Sadiq will be gone by 9. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but I think he would be there. He also says if the only option is to trade back to 20 or beyond, then what do you do? It just depends. If you could stack, if the player you want's not there at 9 and you could stack on 2 more top 50 picks with 29 and 40, I think it gets considered. If the guy you want's not there. I don't know, man. It'll be, like I said, once we see free agency, maybe we would be able to talk about it a little bit more. Slamming with the 2 says if we draft right tackle, I better not hear about the O-line. Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's the thing. I think they've been kind of plugging away at this O-line for years, Mike, but it's still a conversation to be had every season. Like the O-line's not good enough. I think right now they're probably better than they've been in years. Ultimately.
They are, but here's the thing. They overpaid Trey Smith, which is fine. They just wanted to seal that up, right? Like, they're tired of it. Brett Veach was tired of it. But Kingsley was kind of a miss for what they intended to get him for. They traded up in the second round to get him, and he kind of didn't work out to be the left tackle. But I think he's found a good spot at left guard. They drafted Josh Simmons, and he looked good, but now he feels a little uncertain. Like, can he just up and not take football seriously at any point? Who knows? But then right tackle, you signed Jalen Moore for 2 years. He didn't look the best, and 2 years wasn't a long-term solution. You had to let Juwan Taylor walk. Esapole could be good, but he could have a huge sophomore slump. You don't really know from him. So maybe there is reason to take a right tackle here to have a future bookend with Josh Simmons, but I just feel like 9's a little rich. 29, if you had to move up to, say, 25, 26, and maybe you could grab like a Max Ahanacho or something like that, I'd almost like that a little better than taking Maui Noah at 9. Because Maui Noah's kind of got that, he may be more suited to play guard kind of thing, right? Like,
I like Max a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big Ahanacho fan. He's raw, and that scares me a little bit because so far our guys haven't been able to develop anybody worth a piss. So that scares me a little bit, but,
Yeah.
Get it done, Andy Heck.
I do think O-line is something that we need to replenish. I think it's something that we need depth, but I don't think it's something that we need to be focused on early, in my opinion. Now, I wouldn't be mad at it, but I don't think it's something that you need to focus on early at this point.
Right.
I just don't. David Miller with the 2-bomb. I clicked the wrong thing.
You just picked O-line as ass.
I don't know about that, Jason. I think they're better than they have been. I mean, you got – real quick before I get to the 2-bomb from David, just to address Jason here, I mean, you're looking at – you've locked up now the interior. The interior is great. You have one of the best interior O-lines in football with Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, Kingsley Suamataia shining over there at left guard, and he's only going to get better. And then Josh Simmons over there on the left tackle's position. What a beast. So, I mean, as long as he's there and healthy, that's locked up. So, I mean, you got right tackle that's kind of a question mark, but you got a couple of guys that can play it. You got Jalen Moore. You got Asapole. You got, let's see, Ethan Driscoll. Probably more than likely, I don't see them keeping Wanye around, but we'll see. But no, I think the O-line's actually not bad. They do need some depth, though. David with it, too, says, I like Alec Pierce in free agency. What do you think? I didn't think they were going to let him get to free agency. I thought the rumor was that the Colts were just going to hang on to him.
Yeah, they can't afford him.
Is that what it is?
A report come out today, guys. Like I like Alec Pierce. But I've been talking about getting him for years, but he's priced out. They're saying that right now he may have an offer on the table that's already $27 million per year, and that the Patriots may go to $30 million per year on him.
We only wanted to pay Tyreek Hill $24 million a year. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, they're wanting to pay him. He's saying right now. There's reports out today saying that somebody's offered $27 million per year. We can't afford that. It's just it can't be done.
Yeah, Mark Murray. If this was a thing, it would have to be flip flopped, brother. Sadiq at 9, Mesidor at 29.
Yeah, I don't think Sadiq would last to 29, and I don't think
Mesidor is not going to go before it. I think if it was the other way around, Mike, like the way that makes most sense at this juncture, would you be mad if they drafted Kenyon Sadiq and then Mesidor?
No, absolutely not. I wouldn't be mad if you took Sadiq at 9. And then maybe at 29, you had to move up to like 26 or 27 and grab Mesidor. I really wouldn't be mad to trade up a couple spots to grab him if you wanted to.
What if Mesidor falls to 29? Do you take him at 29, or do you see if you could trade up from 40 and grab him? You might be able to get two.
That's possible too.
A little two for.
There's a way to do it. Again, I think there's certain players I'm targeting at each and every position. And at number 9, I think Reuben Bain is right there. But Steve, me and you were talking about this yesterday. Brett Veach did an interview the other day, and he let a lot of things slip. He let a lot of things slip. And one of the things he let slip was that he watches All Chiefed Up, and he liked the conversation we had that we said there's about 7 good pass rushers, and if you don't get a pass rusher at pick number 40, you may be in trouble, because at 74, you're not going to get a good pass rusher. So we had even said that it was possible that 6 to 7 pass rushers could go within the top 35 to 40 picks, because once it hits that drop-off, they're not as good anymore. So sounds like to me Brett Veach knows he's got to get him a pass rusher in the top 40. Right. So to me, that made it sound like Reuben Bain at number 9 was a real big consideration if he's there.
Yeah, Wink says Mesidor ain't making it to 29. If he goes before 29, that's rich for me. I wouldn't spend a top 28 pick on Mesidor unless I absolutely had to have some kind of a pass rusher. He's 26 years old, man. Like, you're only getting him for the rookie contract. After that, what is it? Let him walk.
Well,
right?
Here's the thing. Yes. What is it? The pass rushers are weak after like the top 7 to 8. It's not that great. You've got to get one early. So there may be somebody reach on Mesidor. I still think Mesidor's not worth the highest I would reach on Mesidor would be maybe 22, 23. I wouldn't take Mesidor no higher than 23.
Yeah, to me, I like Mesidor too, Mike. I brought up Mesidor to you a long time ago.
Yeah.
Way before this offseason. But I don't think I would spend more than 29 on him.
You've also got to ask yourself, did Mesidor produce because of all the good linemen he had with him at Miami? Reuben Bain running people into him.
I give him his credit, dude.
Up the middle.
I think he's good, and I think he's going to be good. I just don't know. I don't know if he's worth a first-round pick. I don't have him graded as a first-round pick, and I don't know. It scares me a bit.
I'm going to say 23 is his sweet spot. So if you could get him at 29, yeah, but that's why I said I feel like you may have to trade up to like 25, 26.
Yep. Our boy Fred says, is it still raining, Mike?
It stopped a little bit, but it's still like cloudy.
It's sunshiny today. It's just muddy and gross, you know.
Yeah,
it's been raining
and it's
forever.
supposed to start again.
Yeah, Mike might get flooded out of his house for like the 80th time.
Hopefully not.
Let's hope not. Appreciate the 2, Fred. Let's see. What else we got going on, guys? What y'all want to talk about? We have a few more minutes left. So you guys get your questions in the chat. If you have any questions, get them in there. We'll get to you. Jaron Love, Danny Disney Sutton, around 40. I don't know if that's exactly where I'd want to be spending on him, but I wouldn't be mad at it.
You may have to.
Yeah, you might have to. But I do like him. I think he's a great player. But anyway, hit that like button for us if you haven't yet. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Also, you can become a member. You can go to join.allchiefedup.com or hit that join button at the top. Become a member of the ACU crew. We'll be doing a members-only live stream for March coming up here in the next few weeks. We'll be giving away a signed jersey. Mike, what signed jersey we got this time? Is it Mr. Ashton Gelati?
Yeah, we got Ashton Gelati on deck.
Yep. Ashton signed a jersey, sent it to us. We're ready to give it away to you. So if you would like to win that, all you got to do is become a member and be at the members-only live stream in March at join.allchiefedup.com. Also, you can buy some merchandise. We have this hat and a bunch of different hats, hoodies, T-shirts, whatever you want over at merch.allchiefedup.com. And all those proceeds go to helping this channel grow as well. So would appreciate you guys for the support. What do we got here? Mike, I've been seeing, I want to bring this up by everybody's like putting their questions in the chat or whatever, but I've been noting Jordan Tyson in a lot of mocks and in a lot of different scenarios where he's fallen to 20 and later in the draft. If Jordan Tyson, let's just say that you draft whoever at number 9. Say you get an edge rusher.
Reuben Bain.
Yeah, you got Reuben Bain with your first pick. If you're still sitting on pick 29 and pick 40, and Jordan Tyson's still on the board at 23 or 24, do you get up there and get him?
I would consider it, yeah. He's the best wide receiver in this draft if he didn't
barring
have
injuries. Yeah, I agree.
And again, if he clears medicals, he's fine to go get. Like
I was wondering about that. I just thought like he was getting into that wheelhouse where it's like you're at 29, you could go up and get this kid.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about.
I would much rather move up to 23 or 24 and get a Jordan Tyson than I would to be sitting at 29 and grabbing Avion Terrell. I don't like corner in round 1 for the Chiefs.
I don't either.
I don't like it.
I like Avion Terrell, but I'm not big on first round corners.
I would much rather package a 4th or 5th and go get Jordan Tyson than I would sit at 29 and take Avion Terrell.
Yeah. Dennis says, what y'all think we can package with 40 to get back into the 20? So he's kind of like on the same wavelength as me. The thing is, though, I think if you trade up in the 20s, I think you have to give up that 29. So I think that's how you get to move up into the 20s. Now, is it possible to get a mid? Do you think you could get like a mid 20s if you packaged up 40 along with something else and maybe that 3rd round pick we got from Trent McDuffie for next season?
Just let me look. I can tell you exactly what you'd have to package up.
Well, while you're doing that,
Yeah, let me grab it really quick, and I'll tell you exactly what you have to
Gizmo says, "Who's your guys' favorite rookie from last year?" Man, I tell you what, I like a lot of those guys. I have to go with Josh Simmons just because I feel like as long as he's healthy and mentally good to go, I think he is our left tackle for the foreseeable future. Like he's an absolute dog. Love Omar Norman Lott. Can't wait to see what he does when he gets back from injury. Barring that they keep trying to make him fat and be a run stuffer. That's not what he is. That's not what you should be doing with him. Let that guy get in there and eat. Get some pressure on the quarterback. Ashton Gelati, he's potentially my favorite. I think that he's going to be a good edge rusher. Give it time. He was coming on at the end of this year with limited reps. So I think Gelati's going to be good. And I also love Noel Williams. So I think last year's class is pretty promising. As long as we let them get in there, get their experience, and don't try to change them. Like, we got to stop doing that. We got to stop doing that with players.
So what was the question on that? Like, what were we trying
Dennis?
to move?
If you package number 40, what do you got to put with it to get back into the 20s? So essentially, I think what Dennis is wanting to pull here is 3
So we're
picks
at
in the top 29. Yeah.
Right. So so the top 20 is Dallas, Pittsburgh. Let's just say we're not going to trade with an AFC team. So you got Pittsburgh, Chargers, Philly, Cleveland, Chicago, Buffalo, San Francisco. So let's do Chicago. They've got ties to the Chiefs. They're sitting right dab in the middle. They're at 25. So that's 720. That's their value to get that pick. Pick 40 is 500. So now you've got to go at 220. We'd have to give up our round 3 picks. So we'd have to give up 40 and 74 to get up to 25.
Yeah. Later, Richie.
So you would have 9, 25, and 29, and then your next pick would then be 109. But here's the problem with doing that, ladies and gents. I love the idea, go get you 3 really good players. But that's a lot of guaranteed money you're throwing out right there for 3 guys. That's a lot. You're looking at probably about 30, 50. You're probably looking close to 50 to 60 million in guaranteed money to sign 3 first-round picks. That's a lot.
A lot.
It's going to be a lot to sign 2 of them. Like I said, number 9 is getting 31.5 guaranteed instantly.
Yeah, true. I had another question, and I lost it because I went back to that one. It was Mickey. Can't remember what it was. Can't find it. It's gone forever. Now here it is. Mickey says, what former first-round draft pick that Veach loves to do has ever worked out? So basically what he's saying, Veach loves going to get those former first-rounders and try to get something out of them. Have we ever had one that worked out? Because what comes to mind for me is Kadarius Toney, the corner. I'll forget his name. DeAndre Baker. We tried it with him. I don't know if he's ever
been one.
exactly worked out. Who?
Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they signed him. They didn't trade for him, but they signed him. He was a busted guy, and then now we didn't use him, and I don't know if we'll re-sign him. Like, he finally did it, and they're gonna let him walk, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Sean Herbert with a 2 says, what about Danny Dennis Sutton in the 3rd round? I love Danny Dennis Sutton. I love him. 3rd round would be about right for him, in my opinion. So I wouldn't be mad at that. Wouldn't be mad at that at all. I don't know if he'll be there. Somebody might reach on him a little bit. He's a big boy, and he can play. So
yeah, I've got him right now. I've moved him as a top 75 pick. So yeah, 3rd round pick 75. We could get him at 74. That's about right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. Would not be mad at that at all.
At 74 would be a perfect value right there for him, just about.
Yep. Yeah, Bob, I do think we need to look at re-signing Thornton for sure. Scott Crosser says, what about trading the 9 and the 13 for the 13, then move the 29 for the 20th with Dallas plus a 4th round next year? Dude, that's exactly the kind of stuff I was doing when I was messing with it, Scott. Like, I was just kind of messing with the draft simulator, and I'm like, these are the types of things that Veach could pull. And I think there's so many different scenarios where you can go back and then up and then – or just up, or sometimes back. There's so many different ways that Brett Veach can move up and down these boards to get exactly the players he wants to get. And that's what I was mentioning earlier. I think this season, more than any in this draft, you're going to see Brett Veach get the players that he really wants to get because he's got the firepower to move up and down and get them. So I think if, say, there's 3 players in this draft, or let's just say even 2, there's 2 players, and Brett Veach is like, I got to have these 2 guys. He's going to get them, no matter what he's got to do. So if Jeremiah Love's one of those, look for an aggressive trade up.
Let's just say Jeremiah Love doesn't go to Arizona at 3. He doesn't go to the Titans at 4. Let's just say they was to take like Arvell Reese. Let's say the Giants don't take him. They just take somebody else. Cleveland at number 6. That's 250 is what you'd have to make up. So Brett Veach to go from 9 to 6 to jump Washington to New Orleans. Like if you don't get Love and you think that now, or if you don't get a Etienne or a Kenneth Walker, and you want to jump 7 and 8 to get to 6, Brett Veach literally only has to give up his 3rd round pick, and he can go from 9 to 6. So let's just say that they could theoretically say 9 to 6, they could give up number 9 and number 74, and they could go get Jeremiah Love at 6. Then at 29, let's just say Jordan Tyson falls to 26, and they want to go up with Buffalo. I don't know if Buffalo let us do that again, so let's just go ahead and say Chicago. They would have to give up 60 points to go from 29 to 20. It'd be 80 points from 29 to 25. So they could theoretically give up round 4. So we could literally pick number 6 and get Jeremiah Love, number 25 and get Jordan Tyson, and they would still have pick 40, and they would not have a 3rd and a 4th rounder at that point. But you would still have 2 5ths and a 6th. That's a theoretical kind of trade-up. Or, again, you don't have to give up, for example, round 3 to go get Cleveland per se. You could give up a round 4 this year and a round 3 next year, right? You can do things like that, but those are the little kind of things you want. Like, I don't see Brett Veach moving up literally like 70 picks. He's going to move up 3, 4, 5 slots and go get a little guy he likes. He's done that several times.
That's all I've been saying. I think he's going to try to get the guys that he wants this year.
And he's got some power to do it. He's got 2 in round 5. He's got a value of 146. That 146 pick is about 33 points, and his 167 is about 25 points. So he's got about 80 points in round 5 that he can use to move. And like I said, 80 points moves you up from number 9 to number 7 in the first round if he wants to just take both 5th rounds. If you want to move from 29 to 26, both 5s get that too. So he don't have to give up tons to move little chunks. You don't have to give up
and something else to consider. He could, if he feels like he could trade back at number 9, acquire a bunch of draft capital, he could start moving up, and just grabbing the guys that he wants the rest of the draft. So
absolutely,
lots of different scenarios there. Let's see. Bill with the 5 bomb says, "Let's hope the new position coaches can elevate the ends, the draft class better than last year." So I do think that a lot of these new position coaches are going to help this team, in particularly Chad O'Shea. Like, I love DeMarco Murray. I like that move. I like that they're trying to rework the running back room. But I think more impactful than anything is going to be Chad O'Shea, because our wide receivers could not get open to save their life last year. And we don't have bad receivers. We didn't have bad receivers last year. We had the fastest receiving core in football last year, and we couldn't get open. Like, so I fully expect to see a big change in that wide receiver room as far as mentality and the route running and the leverage and the space they create, and just being smart, not trying to just rely on the fact that you can run a 4.2 40. I think we're going to see a little bit different mentality, and I would love to see a receiver drafted or acquired that is known as a route technician. I think we need somebody that can do that kind of stuff, that can be a security blanket for Mahomes and that can just get open. Like, that's the main thing. So I'm excited to see how they go about that, Bill. And I think that Chad O'Shea and the wide receivers is the one I'm really intrigued to see the change there. Wouldn't you agree, Mike?
Yeah, for sure. I think Chad O'Shea's a good one. I think DeMarco Murray's going to help out that running back room as well. Steve, 30 minutes ago, give or take, Diana Rossini and Jesse Knoll, who is a Chiefs insider, wrote an article for the New York Times, and they are claiming this. Travis Kelce's expected to play, but it is not guaranteed it is with the Chiefs. They have got – listen to this.
We said this a long time ago. It could be the Browns.
We've said this. This just come out by Diana Rossini and Jesse Newell. Diana Rossini is a very respected insider, and Jesse Newell works with the Chiefs. It says tight end Travis Kelce is expected return. League sources are saying, here's the twist. It isn't a sure thing that the team he plays for would be the Chiefs. Kelce's representatives are telling teams that they are expected to talk to multiple different sources and teams. So his own agents are now saying that he is going to talk to multiple teams about playing football, not just Kansas City. Now, look, I wouldn't think that's a big deal. I still think it's 99%. It's probably the Chiefs.
Browns.
But it's still wild.
We've been
that
saying the
Diana
Browns.
Rossini and Jesse Newell now are saying that his representatives are saying. So what's he doing? Is he trying to drive up the price? Is he trying to tell the Chiefs, look, I'm not going to take your team-friendly deal. If you want me, it's $10 million, or I'm going to go play with the Browns.
I don't see that, but I do think that there is something to the fact that you grow up in Cleveland, you love the Browns, and you have a chance to play for your team that you just absolutely love growing up.
Yeah.
That would not
season,
surprise.
right?
That wouldn't
it really
surprise
wouldn't be
me.
Weird.
And they need a tight end. I mean, they did draft. I think they have Harold Fannin, but they need a big tight end. I don't know.
think that's wild that Jesse Newell is reporting that. It's not just Diana Rossini now.
I still think that this is 95%. Let's get something buzzing and some intrigue and get some interaction. Get some, something
But
started
should
up.
he be trying? Okay, look. So if he's just saying, look, I'm not taking a team-friendly deal. I'm wanting $10, $11 million. Like, are you really trying to run up the price on the Chiefs? Like, are
What
you really?
if the Chiefs went to him and lowballed the living hell out of him? And maybe that's why you do that.
But the point is you can't come back to the Chiefs and demand $11 million a year and then have another bad season because we couldn't afford to fix the problems. What's the point of coming back?
Right.
If you're not going to allow the team to get better, then you're just coming back and taking money at that. You're just money grabbing.
Here's the way I see it. I don't think it's a money grab by Kelce. I think if you're the Chiefs, you got to quit doing everything so damn cheap. Like, you need to free up some more money because you have a lot of holes to fill. So you need to go figure it out one way or another. You overpaid Nick Bolton. You overpaid Trey Smith. You've done things that were not smart to do. You've made bad signings in free agency in the past. It's wasted money. This is not Travis Kelce's problem. This is your problem.
Right.
Go fix it. You only have, how much did you say we have to spend right now? $25 million?
Yeah.
That's a problem. That's your problem. That's not Travis Kelce's problem. If he wants to play another year here and he wants to make $9 or $10 million, that's okay. That's what he should make. Like, what are we talking about? So, I mean, I don't know. I think the only thing that makes sense there, I do think most of it's just to get interaction, get people talking about it, and it's just something to, get a little buzz going. I don't think Travis Kelce will play anywhere else. I think he's going to play for the Chiefs. But I do think if that was an actual thing and he was looking at other places, it's because the Chiefs came out and tried to give him $3 million or something stupid. Just completely lowballed the hell out of him.
Again, Brett Veach can pull that off. He's just going to have to dig into void years.
And he should at this point. It's not like you're doing it at a massive
$10
rate.
million and just go with 2 extra void years and pay 3.33 per.
Yep. Fred with the 5 bomb says we have to remember we have a lot of better coaches who teach. Yeah. Coaching staff, I think, took a pretty big upgrade this season. So I absolutely think that's going to be a factor with our young guys and even with the guys that we already have. But appreciate the support, Fred. You're awesome, brother.
This guy says, you all keep saying you're going to talk about free agency. And all here's draft talk. We talked about free agency for about 45 minutes earlier, bro.
Yeah, ad nauseum.
Like, you can't come in an hour and 15 minutes into a stream.
Come on, brother.
And tell us that something didn't happen. We're still talking about it. We're talking about Travis Kelce right now. That's a free agent.
Nah, he's the number 1 tight end in the draft. 40-year-old
Wow.
Travis Kelce.
Wow, bro. Here's the mic. Take it. Go ahead.
Hey, to be fair, he probably came in here right when we're talking about the draft, so it's all right.
Go ahead. Take it.
Dude, if I see a hand reach through that screen, do it. Okay. Yep, guys.
Jeez Louise.
There's lots of different things going on. Keep your ear to the ground. A lot of stuff probably going to come out even this evening. Probably all kinds of rumors, this and that. Tomorrow does start legal tampering at noon Eastern time, so 11 o'clock your all's time there in the middle. I almost said Middle East in the Midwest.
In the Middle East. Dude, Iran's put together a good football team this year, baby.
That's what I heard, man.
I hear they're explosive.
Yeah, I hear they're explosive. You
I
gotta
mean,
watch it.
it's getting wild out there.
No, but yeah, 11 o'clock in the Midwest. So, yeah, man, it's going to be fun. We'll get on here live tomorrow, kind of ride through some of that stuff with you guys. We'll just be live while we're hearing all the different rumors and everything. So that'll be fun. Come hang out with us. It'll be a good time. So until then, have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Go Chiefs.
Get wild.